All right, folks, so we're back, and it is Christmas Day. I need to open my inverter charger. We've had this in my possession for over a year, and the reason we're opening it up finally is we're going to plan out this wall in our utility room, and I need to physically see it in the space to figure out how we're going to lay it out. We have solar power coming off the roof. We have shore power coming in from this wall. Those need to go to the inverter. And then from the inverter out, we have an electrical panel going out of all of our house wires. That electrical panel is here. I realized the one I had with me was way too big, so I returned that yesterday. So I'm thinking something like inverter charger right in the middle, with the electrical panel either directly below or slightly to the right near these wires. And that will leave room for my 48 to 12 volt step downs. And then we could do other things up here if needed. And I think down in the valley will be batteries. So let's bring the big guy in here, the inverter, and get it on the wall, or at least near the wall, so we can start planning. So with the foam off and the inverter unpacked, I remembered by looking at it, everything on this inverter model goes in from the bottom. So literally everything comes in this small area here. The rest is just processing power and heat distribution and whatever. There's no other wires and things going in on the sides or the top. So in my brain, that means this should be mounted as high as possible on the wall. So let's bring it in there and see what that looks like. This is just very tediously sitting on that level, but it shows how big it is on the wall. It's massive. For whatever reason, I made the assumption that the mounting points were going to be 16 on center because it's a household unit, but they're not. So that's made me rethink some things. Okay, so mainly what it made me rethink is that I wasn't going to plywood this side. I was just going to leave it studs and mount my utilities to it. But with the weird location of the mounting holes, on the top, they're about 12 inches apart. On the bottom, they're closer to 16 on center, but it's really more like 17. You can't even see them because you have to take the bottom panel off of the unit and open it up. There's only 4 mounting points on that unit. So what I'm thinking is I am going to plywood this wall. That way I'm not trying to catch just studs. It'll also distribute the weight a little better, I think, because that thing is heavy. It's gotta be 60 or 70 pounds alone, at least, maybe more than that. So plywooding it, both sides. Unfortunately, it's raining right now, so I can't go get my plywood in the pickup truck. I don't want to get nice, high quality plywood all wet. So we're gonna move on from this project right now. Okay, and with the whole wall in the shot, right here is where the inverter goes. It's quite big. Okay. All of my leads for solar are going to come down this way, turn under the inverter and go in, because everything goes in from the bottom. And below the inverter, probably directly, is going to be my fuse panel, which is going to have wires, again, the main coming down from the inverter right into the fuse panel. And then all these wires are going to go out and be fairly nice, depending on how much length of wire I left, going up the plywood, laid out and labeled in a nice way, probably, and then direct into the bus right here. So they'll come out and go up like this. So house wires out, solar in. As far as shore power in, we're going to come in right here, go up and into the bottom of the inverter. And then right over here in this space will be just my little step downs. Those aren't hard to wire, but they're going to come directly off the batteries. And we're going to go 48 to 12. And then the diesel heater wiring will come out of those and sneak through back over that way. So that's the plan for the wiring. what can we do since we don't have plywood today? Well, like always, there's plenty to do. But I think what I want to do, I brought my multi-tool, and I'm gonna do a little bit of an experiment. Because these outlets, which are gonna be in this tin, that's hollow, it's deep enough for an outlet for sure. I don't think it's gonna be big enough for a conventional box. So there's a couple options. I might be able to get like a low pro surface mount, but I don't like how big that is. It does just barely fit. Like if it, cause you gotta remember that this gap doesn't matter. So if I wanted to, I could put this box and it would fit between there, and you could have a second one. But surface mount doesn't look nice, and like I said, it's a little too big. So the goal is gonna be to cut the tin here and insert your normal sized outlet as such. So it fits nicely in this space, and it'll be flush against the tin. Remember, all this tin is staying and getting repainted. But how do I do this safely is the question mark. So that's what we're gonna try and figure out today. I think we should be okay. We'll use the plug-ins on the back. I know electricians hate those, but we're not gonna put a heavy load on these, so the quick connect plugs will be fine. And then we'll be able to tighten down these screws or just remove them so they're not sticking out. And then the outlets, you know, pretty narrow. Once that's the case, do we use these tabs to mount it here and then create custom outlet covers? I don't know. I think we're gonna cut open these holes. Because regardless, if I do a surface mount in the end, it doesn't matter if there's a hole below it, because that's where the power will come in from. But we're gonna start thinking that we can make this work. And if we can't, we'll switch to a surface mount. All right, so first things first, I wanna center these the best that I can and create, you know, our happy place. So I think that yellow line's a good indicator of where to start our height. So we're gonna call it exactly 2.5 is where we're gonna come up from the bottom. That's way this can be standard on each one of these. It's not hugely high above the butcher block, which is gonna sit right down here. So maybe it should go higher. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think my outlets at home are maybe 3 inches above the countertops. So if the countertop's here, that would put the outlet all the way up there, which I don't like, because if we do a surface mount, then we're losing all this space. So what do we do? Let's go for 2.5. No, you know what? Let's call it 3. We're gonna go 3 from the bottom, which puts us right there. Same thing on this one. 3 from the bottom, puts us right there. We'll come in. I'm gonna go, there's an indent right here where the rib is. Let's put the hole from the rib, let's go 1/4 inch in. It's right about there. From the rib, go 1/4 inch in, which is right there. Okay. And then our height is going to be determined by the size of our outlet. So our goal here is to have metal close enough to these outlets that these tabs can get screwed in. So if we have a pretty big overhang like that, Feeling pretty good about that. That means our top is going to be right about here. And our width is going to be right about, oh geez, that's too much. I don't have enough room. So we're going to have to come back over. And the reason I don't have enough room is there's an indent here on the outside. So I got to come back towards the rib, which is a bit of a bummer. We're going to move this line back. Top can stay the same. And that's now going to have to be, I'm going to put it right in line with the screws when they're all the way out. That way we know we'll miss them. So here's my, let me get a straight edge. This is not a straight edge. Don't do what I do. Cheesy way of doing things, but that's going to be my hole. Something like this. This doesn't have to be perfectly straight, guys, because it's hidden behind an outlet cover. But it does need to fit the outlet. So does the outlet fit within that? Yes, barely. I don't think we're going to regret it. I think it's pretty cool. We screw these in so you guys can see how much clearance we have. Here's a shallow box. It's quite large, and I could not fit it. I know for a fact. Maybe I could fit it lower, but I can't fit it up there. So that's why we're doing it custom. So you can see with the screws in, it's not hugely close to the metal. And it is all hollow back there, I know that. And it's quite deep. So I think, how else can I illustrate that? I won't be able to illustrate it until I get in there. Well, I guess I could illustrate it here. So you see this depth with the outlet in like so. It's got a good solid 1/2 inch behind it before it's at the skin of the bus. So that's enough. Barely. Yeah. Shit. Well, I was staring at that outlet, man. I don't like it. It's just too tight. And what I mean by that is you can see this lip back here. You know, it's a decent inset. So we're just barely clearing metal on the other side of that. We're just barely clearing metal on the other side of this. And it's just, it doesn't seem like a good idea. So what we can do instead is punch our wire right here through the rib. It's actually already a hole, it looks like. And come up through the bottom. Just make a small hole here and have the wires come out. And then we're gonna have to do surface mount, but I don't think I wanna use that. I think we should make custom surface mounts that are better suited to our size needs. Maybe out of wood, I don't know. Maybe out of tin. But that right now, mounting the outlet in that small space isn't working for me. So I'll have to think on that solution for a second. And I should be clear, the reason I'm making such a big stink about this is, one, safety is really important, but two, there's only 4 of these. It's literally just 1, 2, let me do a 180, 3, 4. Nowhere else in the bus do we have outlets in the tin like that. This one is actually going to be moved to this wall right here. Okay, so because this is all going to be counter space and whatever, so right in this wooden wall, we'll be able to put our outlet. So it's just these four, nowhere else. Above the countertop and above the countertop. And this set of outlets is below the hidden couch. This set of outlets is in a custom piece of wood. This set of outlets is in a custom piece of wood. And these outlets, if there even are any over here, yeah, there's gonna be, but they're gonna be down low under the counter to plug in your laptop and whatever. So it's just those four. And that's why I think they deserve a custom solution that is safe and looks good. So with that, it looks like today I'm on just cleanup duty. I'm gonna go ahead and pull all of these windows out of the bus, put them out in the garage where they belong, somewhere right over there, and we'll set aside the broken ones to start and start disassembling them to get new glass. The rest are going to get cleaned up and, depending on their condition, go back in with the same glass. Some of them might still get new glass. So I think I'm going to do that now. All right, so kind of a roadblock sort of day. I really need to get lumber, I think. It's too cold to paint. I could sand all the windows, but Dad doesn't have his car covered yet like I asked him to. So I'm not going to do that because it's a nice car and I can't pull it out in the rain because that would just be cruel. So roadblock, roadblock, roadblock with everything, with the power, with the, with the lumber and with the painting. So to salvage this day, I was thinking maybe I would do a scrap run, but even that requires work. I'm not going to take number 2 value on some of the copper. I'll break it down and get number 1 value. It's worth it. So I am going to scrap most of the heating components that you saw me take out. I know nobody who needs them, whatever, and I could use the money for the lumber. But to salvage today, I'm going to keep doing some gutting, and that's just so everything can be insulated properly, even though these pieces have to go back in. I knew they were going to have to come out eventually. Today's a good enough day to do it. Pieces like this, which used to hold this front, I guess it was a handrail, essentially, and a divider. Air lines over here, which are no longer in use from the heating system. So I'm just going to keep working. I was kind of excited to put stuff in, but there is more things that need to be taken out, so we might as well keep doing those. I'll pick up with you guys when I've gotten some stuff out. Okay guys, I had to take a break from getting my butt whooped by the tin above the door on the bus. It would just, every single thing was hanging up. I had both hex head bolts that wouldn't come out. I had Phillips that wouldn't come out. I had flatheads that wouldn't come out. And it's just one piece of tin and it was taking me, I wasted an hour and a half on it. It's still in there. So I needed to get away from that. I was getting pretty beaten down, and I was thinking about lumber. The rain has stopped, so I might make a Home Depot run here momentarily, but I'm on my way over to Dad's bus right now because I just wanted to take a quick look at what sort of plywood they used in his bus. I couldn't remember exactly what it looked like, what width it was, and I think it's done pretty well. His conversion was done years ago by somebody else. So I'm going to take a quick look at that, figure out what sort of materials they used. Let's check it out. And there it is. It comes into view. A little bigger than Mossy bus. Oh, this door, it sticks. All right. are we looking at here? Dad called me the other day. He was pretty upset. This paneling's all new, and despite new window gaskets over the winter on this windy side of the bus, it just blew water in here and pretty much destroyed this paneling. The good news is it's all going to be hidden behind the couch, so he's not going to bother replacing it again right now. There's no mold or anything, but it just shows how delicate this stuff is. One reason I kind of want to avoid it for my bus. But anyway, when I'm talking about plywood, I'm talking about back here, the rest of this cabinetry. And he did this here, which, yeah, I think is like a nice, I don't know, maple or birch plywood. That's really nice. Now we're going to paint ours. I think he polyurethane this, but that is a good quality. Yeah, he did definitely polyurethane it. That's a good quality material. Is it the same as this in the front? Yeah, so it's birch. I think it's got to be 3/4 or 5/8. It's pretty thick. He built this because the original one was no good. Yeah, so they should have this. Oh, look. He left that. Perfect. I'll just bring that with me. I think that's what we're going to want to use. And you can see this was the stuff that other people have built over the years. This spice cabinet is major overkill. Huge. I'll give you guys a full tour of this bus some other time. But again, yeah, what are we looking at? We're looking at a combination of both 1/2 inch and 5/8 plywood. Really well built, this conversion. So 1/2 inch on that side, and then we got both on this side. You can see the cabinetry here. It's done really well. So yeah, it's 5/8. I guess it's probably birch, I think. Let's see if I can't close that up with one hand. But yeah, quick tour, I guess. I'll let you guys just see part of it right now. Pretty cool bathroom with a huge corner shower. And it's a massive bathroom, actually. And then there's the bedroom, and this closet is really large. You can see this side aisle, which I don't love this layout. It's also really hard for tall people, but it's fine. It's totally comfortable. Anyway, so good. I'm gonna steal that piece of wood and head downtown. Well, I knew that prices have gone up for plywood. I seem to remember them coming back down, but I guess I was wrong. So that was pretty wild. I'm gonna run over to Lowe's and see if their price is any better. Plus, we have a card through them, so you get 5% off instant, which will make a big difference for this amount of purchase, especially at those prices. Geez, I remember when the highest quality birch and oak in there. I think poplar might be the one we go with, by the way, because it was 71 bucks. It was right in the middle of the pine and the birch. I don't really want to use pine. I mean, I could, it's fine, but I just don't want to for some reason. But like I was saying, I remember when that birch, the highest quality 3/4 birch, was only 31 bucks a sheet. Now it's 80. All right, well, that's more like it. I think I will do the 3/4 maple and the 1/2 inch maple. 3/4 maple, I think they were actually sold out of. There wasn't any in that spot that I saw, but I should be able to order some. And then the 1/2 inch maple, being as cheap as it was, I think is going to be a really nice product to do the rest of the walls with. It's strong. I like the way it looks. I like the way maple accepts paint. So that'll be a good solution. So we'll order up a bunch of that. Well, we really put the old Chevy to work. And I'll tell you what, that's probably the most expensive thing that's ever been in the bed of that piece of crap. So we're going to get this plywood all stacked up over here. And then I can shuffle it around and into the bus and whatever. There's not enough room for it on the other side right now. Hope to use it up pretty quick so it won't stay here for long. But yeah, I think I'll end the video here because we're pretty deep in talking about the electrical and stuff. And when we pick up, I should have a plan here for this plywood. We'll start building some walls and actually hang that electrical that we mocked up in this video. So like always, guys, thanks for watching Highlandshire. We'll catch you next time.